What's your purpose? Like, is that a bit too intense?
No, I would see it from a Dharma point of view.
That's what I was thinking, but it's because you know Ayurveda. What's your purpose? It might be quite a tricky one, but I guess most people I will prepare them with these questions beforehand. Yeah.
Why are you taking up space in the world, Harriet?
What are you doing with your life? Becoming a fertile woman. This is Fertile, a podcast by ARTÄ Healing, with your host, Marigold. Fertile is your journey back, reconnecting you to the rhythm of your cycle, the intelligence of your hormones, and the sacred biology that shapes you. Rooted in Ayurveda and plant medicine, we weave ancestral wisdom with modern science to bring you real, lasting healing. Our intention? To make natural normal so you can say goodbye to chronic menstrual symptoms and step fully into your power as a fertile woman. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Herbalist Harriet. She's also a herbalist and an Ayurvedic practitioner like myself, and now a very, very good friend. Today we're going to talk through all things Ayurveda. We'll talk about the doshas, VATA, PITTA and KAPHA, and also kind of how that interconnects with other medical systems around the world who also are based on the elements like Chinese medicine, Unani tib, Greek humoral theory as well. We talk through the importance of knowing your dosha, how that can be really empowering in understanding yourself and knowing how to heal. Harriet shares her healing journey, where she came from and where she is now. Acne, PCOS, being in the modelling industry, and then moving into being this healthy goddess that she is now. I will give a trigger warning. We will be talking about a little bit about restrictive eating, eating disorders. I guess that comes naturally with the modelling industry, but for those who don't want to listen to those conversations, here is your warning now. As always, our conversations are around looking at symptoms and then assessing the root, how we can actually understand what it is that the body is trying to tell us. So I hope you really enjoy this episode. It's a really great chat, two herbalists just bouncing off each other, talking about Ayurveda, what we're both super passionate about. So enjoy. Hello.
Hi, Em.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm very well.
Like going into the camera like this way.
I've had a very smooth day of just doing behind the scenes work in the apothecary and yeah, cooking some very wholesome food and just enjoying a slower day with lots of nourishment.
That sounds great. That sounds
Yeah,
really great. I've just finished my period, so I'm feeling like all my energy is rising.
she's reviving.
Yeah, getting lots done today. All the things that I needed to get done last week that I had to move because I was feeling like I need to honor where I'm at and I'm bleeding.
Absolutely. Number one priority.
Exactly.
Rest
Yeah.
is best.
Thank you for coming on the podcast to have a chat.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to
That's
be a really
lovely.
interesting one, I think, to talk through this. So, to start, I would love to know what is your ancestry and where do you live now?
Okay, so my ancestry is very interesting and completely, I guess, opposing both mother line and father line. So
Mm.
my mum mainly is Mediterranean. So my both her mother and father have Greek sort of ancestry, and that's kind of where my mother line is originally from. Actually, from we went on a pilgrimage like 4 years ago, and we went to Delphi, which is where the oracle is supposedly from. So we are kind of like from that area in Greece originally. And then there's also a little bit of Middle Eastern and French Moroccan. So
Oh,
that's kind of in the mix. And we also think Pakistani. So there's quite a lot going on just on both.
yeah.
And then on my father's side, completely different. So um, Irish and Scandinavian.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that's where the height comes from,
Yeah.
and the build. But I also have a very fiery nature, which I think is more my mother's genetics
Yeah.
coming through. So yeah, Scandi, a bit of Irish, and Mediterranean.
What a lovely mix.
I know, it's definitely colourful and
Yeah, it
diverse.
is. True Greek goddess as well.
Oh, thanks, love. I miss you playing with my hair after lectures at Annie's, which I'll definitely talk
Yeah.
about.
Oh,
Yeah.
so nice. Yeah, doing some plaiting.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot your other question,
Oh
Emma.
yeah, where do you live now? Where are you
So
based?
currently based in Cornwall. I've been here 7 years. I moved down here 7 years ago um, to have a huge life change. I left the modelling industry that I was in for 12 years and then was going into the herbal world and studying. Um, and I've built an apothecary here and an open clinic, but I definitely feel, as you know, I am sort of open to venturing to another place at some point.
Yeah, you did
Um,
say.
yes, yes, but that's kind of in process. So currently residing in Cornwall.
Such a beautiful place.
It is so nice. It's very at the end of the country though. It
Yeah,
feels like the rest of the world's very
yeah, you are far.
distant. Yeah.
Can't just pop over.
You can't, no.
And well, what is your purpose?
Oh,
Good
okay.
question.
Yeah, so I mean, the way I understand purpose is dharma, and that's kind of like our path towards, yeah, I guess our purpose, but also um, our meaning of life, which I think is very personal to every individual. I definitely feel to get to my purpose, I am, well, yeah, I've been, I think, through quite a very changeable journey and had to kind of go through a lot of transformation. And I think I finally have got to a place where I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I think it's a constant tweaking,
Oh yeah, it's
uh,
always changing, isn't it?
yeah, and like tempering, a lot of tempering that you have to do. But so I do know, probably a bit like yourself, that I'm supposed to work in natural health
Mm.
and how to bring that to life more, and to make it more of a priority for people and an essential, instead of sort of perhaps going to other systems. Our system and what we provide as a service is just as valid, and I think I have quite a strong passion towards making that quite noticeable, and how I'm like an advocate for natural health. And however that looks, obviously, with my background in Western herbalism and Ayurveda, I know that I have to kind of keep on emphasizing those two particular things
Yeah.
in the lifetime that I have. And I actually had a Vedic reading a fair few years ago, and I asked the astrologer, I was like, do you think I've hit my dharma? Do you think I'm like there? And he said, I can give you good news. He was like, you've definitely entered it. It's taken you quite the journey to get there, a personal journey, which is all part of it. But he said, like you're now very much in it, and that will be it for the rest of your life. So I got the
Wow.
thumbs up from him, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's so nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
you've kind of gone from modeling and fashion into natural health and living.
Yeah. Yeah. Through my own personal journey. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I hear that a lot from practitioners who I connect with. It's
Mm.
usually through their own healing journey that they then want to share with everyone. And
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I think that's the best way we can actually connect with our, clients and patients is through experience. There's something called the relational field, and I think when you provide that in your service, that person that you're kind of treating almost has a comfort that they're experiencing, as well as it being very clinical and very factual and scientific.
Yeah.
I think providing a clinic is so much more than that, as you know, and it is about that. If you can relate, to understand the person and let the person feel understood,
Mm.
then I think it's a really beautiful, powerful tool to use within practice if we can.
Well, yeah, because you can read about something and you can study it, but experiencing it and relating is very different.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and that's very powerful to share with clients. And yeah, not everything comes up in a study, does it? So,
no, exactly. But we are kind of the study through
exactly.
experience.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
Hmm. And do you know your human design? Or if
Mhm.
not, sun, moon, rising? That's
Oh,
cool.
I can give you both.
Oh, God.
So I am an Aries sun, I have a lot of passion, and I'm a bit impatient, but I'm very loyal, and most of the time quite enthusiastic and have a bit of a go-getter mindset. Um, and then I'm a Virgo rising, which I think has
Can totally see that.
okay, so like into health obviously and things of the earth,
Yeah.
but also I hate to admit it, but I have like a super perfectionist streak.
Mm.
And I think I can be quite hard on myself sometimes when it comes to like reaching for certain goals, or I don't know. I think Virgos tend to put a little pressure on themselves, and I definitely have that.
Mm.
But I have a Libra moon, which I think really balances me out.
Yeah.
um, and it's quite, yeah, it's all about sort of like um, yeah, like fairness and justice. Like that's a really important thing for me to like have within myself and what I see in other people. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my big three. And then my human design, I'm actually a manifester.
Are
um,
you?
yeah,
Interesting.
I need lots of rest, which
Yeah.
as an Aries, I'm like, no, I'm not good with that. But it's when we manifest our most is when we're not manifesting. So I think a manifester, almost similar to you as a projector, we I know that you guys have to wait for the invitation, but we have to kind of announce what we're doing by informing the world. And then we have to like sit back and allow it to come in. I'm a non-specific as well. So my friend who was doing my chart, she was like, you have to trust the universe more than the like normal person. I was like, I don't need to hear that, but
Oh, it's
it's true.
very hard though, isn't it?
It's so hard because you can't see it. It's like at that moment it's not tangible, but you
Mm.
just need to be the space for things to come in. And so I'm still very much learning my human design and honoring rest, which is kind of our most powerful thing. And I think as a practitioner as well,
Oh, we have to honor rest,
we
definitely.
have to honor rest. Yeah.
Recharge, yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just, how can you give? You need to
How can you
give
give? Your
from a full cup.
cup's empty.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. That's really interesting actually. I thought you were
Mm.
a projector. I don't know why, but
Oh, well, it's funny because
I
I
like it.
get on really well with projectors. Most of my friends are projectors.
Oh, well, we are amazing.
So yeah, I feel like we're similar. We understand each other, and yeah, I
That's also
really
because
like that
we study the same thing, and I think
we
that also
do.
brings us together because it's the same when I work with clients. Like when we start to unravel Ayurveda and we get really into our dosha and we start to understand ourselves, or we start to, awaken our authenticity, and like you start to kind of vibe on each other and you
Yeah.
understand each other's language, and everything starts to feel like it makes sense, and then that brings
Hmm.
you closer, and then
Yeah.
you form quite good friendships with my
Yeah.
clients because
Yeah.
suddenly you feel like you know this thing that most of the world don't really know, and then
Yeah.
like we need to spread it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's almost like
So
you're
helpful.
creating a mycelium, like a
Yeah.
community. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I get that. It's really nice.
So today I thought it would be really fun to kind of touch on Ayurveda because we both practice Ayurveda, and also incorporate that with your ancestry and look at a bit of the Greek kind of humors as
Hmm.
well, because I mean it's all the same, isn't it? The
It
five
is. Elements.
um,
Yeah.
the elements you see in actually so many different traditional medicine systems. I don't really know much about Unani Tib, but I believe that that's in within that as well.
Hmm.
I think African as well, and
Yes. Obviously, TCM, they use the elements
PCM,
as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
Chinese medicine with acupuncture. And I don't really know much about Central or South American medicine, but I know there's they've got like the medicine wheel, they've got the four
Yeah.
directions. I think
Yeah.
like four elements they use more.
Yeah. It's just the four. So, obviously, another subject for maybe another time, but my mum being a shamanic teacher,
Mm,
we actually,
she
me and
is.
my, yeah, yeah. So me and my brothers were raised with uh, um, a indigenous Mexican community back in the 90s.
Mm.
Um, and I remember them teaching me something called the Poderios, which translates as like the elements, and it's the four, and it's tied in with the direction. So it's very, again, they're using elements to, I guess, understand the different material and benefit of plants and nature.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, I think when I've seen the wheel, it's different colors, isn't it? White
Hmm.
and yellow and black and red.
Yes,
Love to
yeah,
dive into that a little bit more and just see how it kind of connects and
ties in.
Ayurveda.
Yeah,
And I think Chinese medicine have got wood as well, haven't they?
yeah, five, I think it's five elements. Yeah.
They don't split ether and air like we do.
No, that's VATA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is. Yeah. I mean, like, I think in every traditional culture, there is pretty much anything, especially in their kind of understanding of medicine, because it's so interwoven with nature.
Mm.
The elements play such an important role in understanding medicine and how they see the body through the elements, and how each organ is represented by an element, and it's then compatible with plants. And yeah, to understand and see medicine through the elements makes so much sense. And I think probably when we were studying Ayurveda together, it was like almost taking off quite a Western lens off and being like putting this new one on.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, okay, like this is a whole different
Oh,
system of
it's so
understanding.
different. I feel
Yeah.
like now teaching Western medicine as well as Eastern, I still have to keep myself in check all the time because
Mm.
they are like, it's like almost two different sides of the brain working at the same time.
Yeah.
Through studying Western herbs, I remember when I first met Annie and we started working together, I was so allopathic and like, this is the symptom, this is the herb. And just like, I would write a prescription based on your liver needs help, your skin needs help, and it was just like how we learned to formulate. And then
Yeah.
her, she was like, you basically need to unlearn everything that you've learned and relearn this. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, how can you put them together? But they do marry quite well together.
Yeah.
You can still work a bit symptomatically. Like,
Yeah.
if I have a client that's got horrendously painful periods, it's quite helpful to add in a herb that can be like an antispasmodic and clear pain.
Yeah, of
Actually,
course.
we're going to look at the root of why they're getting the pain as well and use an Eastern approach. So
Yeah.
do both. But yeah, I remember thinking at the time, I just can't see how I'm going to unlearn all of this. And
Yeah. Yeah. I remember saying to Annie, shout out to Annie McIntyre.
yeah,
um, but I remember her
queen of
saying,
all the herbs.
I think it was in one of her classes. I was like looking at my notes not too long ago, just sort of tidying up, and I was sort of writing down how I was going to remember like treating the symptom and treating kind of the original cause.
Mm.
And how I kind of I guess my reference is the symptom is just like the outcome, and it's the language and the translation of the cause, um, sort of expressing through the body, so the skin or the liver or whatever. But it's like it has to kind of go back into the motherboard to then discover what the cause is. And so I see the cause as like the motherboard, it's like the origin. And then the outcome of that is like the communication, which is the symptom.
Yeah,
Um,
I like
yeah,
that explanation.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah, yeah. So it's like origin is the mother, and then like maybe her little child is like the symptom,
Mm.
sort of running off and expressing itself, distant from the kind of original cause.
Yeah.
And it's about, like you say, bringing it back to the origin. It's like we're not really doing any work, or we're definitely not healing if we're not paying attention to the original cause.
Well, yeah, it's true. I
Whole
mean,
point of healing.
exactly, which modern medicine doesn't particularly tap into. It's just like add this, get a side effect, then take this, and then
Yeah,
another
and then
plant
have
here
some.
and do this, and
Yeah,
yeah, exhausting.
yeah.
Yeah, I like the motherboard way of explaining
Mm.
it. I tend to think of it as like, I don't have no idea why, but I think of it as like pipes and leaks in the body. I'm
Ah.
not sure why. It's like a weird plumber ancestry.
Got
Must
some
be a
plumbers
plumber.
like a few
I don't
generations
know.
ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I sort of see it as like where's the original leak that we're trying to find?
Okay.
There's this, you can see the physical leak over here in the skin somewhere, and it's like got to trace it all the way back. Where is the original?
Hmm.
Yeah, but no idea why it's
I mean,
like.
they're kind of similar. One's is more like electrician, and one's like plumber.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, electrician and
Yeah,
plumber. Maybe
yeah,
it's I don't know. I'm more in the water element or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got too much Vata in me,
Mhm.
like electrical, activity.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Um, oh yeah, the one thing, the main thing I actually would have and should have asked you at the beginning is what's your dosha? Can't believe we
Oh, I mean, it's such
what
a vast.
crazy. Like an Ayurvedic practitioners and herbal medicine podcast, and we're like, let's not even ask about what your
Yeah,
dosha.
yeah, never mind your dosha. So, obviously our dosha changes throughout life. So I think I was born into the world as a quite high Vata child, Vata Pitta. I was born at Vata time, so 3:43 in the afternoon.
Interesting.
Yeah, and um, as I kind of grew into childhood, I definitely became more Pitta. Teens very Pitta, and I kind of at the moment I'm like Pitta Kapha, and I can switch. I can be really Pitta and burn out very quickly, get
Mm.
very sort of tired, um, very determined and fiery and passionate, and have quite yeah, my hunger's quite regular.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of have good, substantial meals and things like that. But I have elements of kapha where
Mm.
I can be quite slow and um, yeah, just sort of like feel like yeah, definitely have a slow side to me. But the pitta almost like is like the little devil on my shoulder telling me to get up and do something with my
It's true. Yeah.
life.
I mean, I've always seen you as Kappa Pitta. That's what
Wow.
I see you
Yeah. Yeah.
because I mean, I can see that you have a very Pitta mind in terms of like the way that you learn and
Mm.
the way that you can be hard on yourself as well, just
Yes,
knowing you and
that's
your
fair.
your goals and everything. But I think the thing that I see most in you is the slowness and the kind of what is it? It's like you just are basically a goddess. You're really tall, you've got big eyes and big lips, and your hair is long and big.
It's Kappa, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Just like the way that you speak, the softness, it's
Mm.
nurturing. I feel like you're very nurturing. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't see a lot of Vata in you, but maybe your Vikruti
Yeah.
was Vata, but because I don't know what happened with birth and but maybe your Prakruti is actually Kapha Pitta and it's
I think Prakriti is, yeah, Kappa Pitta, and yeah, but I definitely was quite the whirlwind. My
really
mum said I was like a whirlwind with a will of iron. So I think
wow, very
Vata Pitta.
nice. Yeah, interesting.
I wasn't like chill and like slow, and yeah,
No,
it was
you can definitely
quite the
tell
force.
like a Kappa baby. Kappa babies are like the big chubby ones that just sit
Hairy
there and they don't really are not bothered by anything. All they do is eat. They
and
sleep really
sleep.
well.
Yeah,
They don't really cry much. They're just like blob.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you're quite. Would you say you're predominantly pitta with kapha?
I think I think I'm Pitta Kappa, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think as I've actually become a mother and as where I am in my life, I've definitely my Kappa has increased. It's
Okay.
something that I'm working on because I think it's going into excess, which is not what I want. But it's
Okay.
like honoring the parts of Kappa that obviously I love. But I think, I guess the goal is always to come back to our authentic self, our Prakriti, who we were born as.
Yeah.
I think my pitta is pretty balanced now, whereas it used to be
Mm,
really out of balance, and I've worked on that. But now it's like kappa, and they say more kappa comes in motherhood because of just the nature of motherhood.
nurturing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because if you've already got that in your chart, then it's like knowing, okay, it's probably going to go in excess. What can you do to
Yeah.
and I'm trying to like work on that. And I feel like, when you get to a point where you're like, I've just figured out and I feel like a really balanced place with my pitta and it's like, the learning continues.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Now
the time.
I'm
You're
now
adjusting
I'm
all the time.
yeah.
And because I think every day we wake up, obviously we're women with a cycle, so our
Mm.
dosha is, changeable. I know when I have my bleed, I can actually be very vata,
Mm.
because I think we're sort of emptying out, aren't we, and releasing, and there's space being made. And that space, I think, can sometimes increase Vata element.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
and yeah, so maybe the speed of your period as well. If it's like, um, quite, I don't know, well, the speed can be Vata and Pitta. But I know, like, I used to have really long periods, which I think probably more of a Kapha thing.
It is.
Um, yeah, but
I'm
this
like,
is going
yes,
on
you are.
forever.
You are a
Confirmed.
Kappa, my dear.
But I think like I'm definitely more Pitta and been on my own personal journey with hormones, which obviously we can talk
Yeah, of
about.
course.
Um,
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting one to talk about.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, we can, but also I guess for people that are listening, they might not even know what all these Kappa Pitta Vata the terms are, but I guess it's something that I dive into this in my work anyway, which I can.
yeah,
But really, it's like it's all these different languages for the same thing, isn't it? So Pitta
yes.
is just fire, Vata is, light, is, air and ether, and then you've got
Hmm.
Kapha, which is water and earth. And then in
Yes.
Greek medicine, it's this, again exactly the same, but just
Same.
different words. So
Yes.
I guess Kappa, water,
Yeah.
phlegmatic, right? Phlegmatic.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Vata is the air and the ether, but I think it may be in Greek, it's sanguine, it's the creative light, that one as well.
Yeah.
In,
And then all linked to the gods and goddesses. So like so
oh,
anything Pitta, which is
mm,
fire and ether, is like has a direct link to like Helios.
mm.
And then I think the sort of more Vata wind type is linked to Hermes,
Oh,
who would travel through the skies in the wind.
I love
Um,
all these archetypes. I think
yeah,
they're
yeah,
created, right, to help us
yeah,
understand.
yeah. They're kind of you can have the story to help us remember. And
Mm,
then I know that kind of earth type element in Greek medicine is linked to Demeter,
mm.
who was like the goddess of the earth and harvest and yeah, like abundance. So there's always and I'm sure when we kind of delve deep into Ayurveda, I know some of the plants are linked to like Amrit is linked to Amrita.
Mm.
Um, so obviously there's like direct correlations with the archetypes in the Vedic philosophy and tradition. So it's very similar to Greek medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. So we have choleric, because it's like the colic is sort of the liver, choleric is
yes,
fire, pitta,
yeah, heat,
and
yeah,
then so we've got choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and then melancholic
yes,
is melancholic. I think it kind of has a crossover because I think we've obviously only got three in Ayurveda, which is Indian medicine.
yeah,
Kappa being melancholy and phlegmatic together, maybe.
yeah.
And
And
all
there's like moods in Ayurveda as well, isn't there? So like or
mm,
personality traits. So I would instantly, like you say, melancholic would be very kapha.
yeah, for
It's sort
sure.
of like Eeyore syndrome.
Yeah,
Um,
which is also anthroposophic
yeah,
medicine,
so
right?
Stein going into Steiner.
Oh, it all makes
Yeah,
sense.
I've actually I was reading something the other day about obviously like going to bed. I don't have like a normal book. I'm always sort of reading more
Hmm.
medicine links and things like that because it's kind of being a practitioner, as you know, it's like obsessive.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it's like a never-ending portal that you can't get out of because
yeah,
you keep learning
you're
that.
like, I've got to learn that too and add that to my practice. But I remember I was reading about how Steiner obviously has created his own or did create his own sort of like medicine formula, and obviously
Mm.
homeopathy was tied in as well along with his other medicines. But he basically he took a lot of knowledge from Ayurveda
Yeah.
and like put it into his own yeah, like understanding but his own creation in some way, but just Steinified. So it's like we can never really escape
Totally.
Ayurveda.
No, I think everyone took something from the East. No, it's like,
Yeah,
and then made into something else. It's,
think it's called colonialism.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Greeks did too. I mean, ancient Greece. I mean, I don't know how far that goes back. Who
I
knows?
mean, it's very, very old, but I know just from studying some of I'm actually learning Greek and it's a lifelong,
Oh my goodness.
I know, I don't know what's wrong with me, but human curiosity, I think. But I, the teacher, she was explaining that actually some of the words are linked to Sanskrit, and I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, if
Well,
it goes
I
as
mean,
far back to
Sanskrit must
Sanskrit,
be the oldest, surely. I don't
it's
know.
pretty old.
How can we ever
Yeah,
know though? That's the thing, isn't it? There's all these different conspiracies and like we're I don't know, knowledge is always changing.
yeah,
And I'm like, what actually is true? I was watching this documentary, it was talking about how the pyramids were once underwater, and I was like
yeah.
really into the whole Atlantis thing, and I was like, oh, is this real?
Well, they've like discovered a whole thing under the pyramids, haven't they? With like these
Yeah,
like discs, which has only been in our lifetime. They've only discovered it. So I
it's
think it's turning history on its head. But I also feel like that could be the same in the sort of medicine world and even traditional medicines.
yeah. Mm.
Just by finding out this new information constantly changes our understanding, and we have to kind of, it's like we have to evolve with it by
Yeah.
discovering the old.
Well, we do. I mean, I think that's where a lot of studies and things come from. We look at kind of, scriptures and old texts, and we look at I mean, everything to do with the gut that's coming out now is
I'm
all what
like,
Ayurveda has been saying for thousands of
I
years. And
kind of yawn a little bit when I hear people go, "Oh, I think it's to do with digestion,"
you're just
and
like,
it's
yeah, sure, of course it is. It's the gateway to the rest of the body, and
yeah, yeah,
it's been written thousands of years ago.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like, is it the
in
gut?
stone.
Oh, it's painful, isn't it? But
Yeah, I mean, like they say now, Western medicine is going, we think there's a direct link between dementia and it being now an inflammatory disorder and how it's linked to the gut. And I'm like, well, and I'm
yeah,
just
love
sat
it.
there
It's
like,
armor in the brain, babes.
yeah. It's totally armor in the brain. Like it,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just like where else do you think that's come from? Like, and then we kind of I tend to look at like, that sort of the current elderly population, like why is dementia such a thing? And they were kind of like post-war babies. So after the
Mm.
war, like the food system completely changed and it was like convenience. Everyone was just like cooking out of the can
Yeah, yeah.
and
So much
absolutely,
heavy metal exposure, so many xenoestrogens,
yeah,
Teflon. I mean, my grandma
got the
spent
devil.
life eating out of cans. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's a byproduct of like absolutely sort of nuking the gut bacteria and the biome and all the other things and like your acne, all of the above.
Well,
And I'm
that's
like, of
what acne
course we have,
is.
pardon?
That's all acne is, isn't it? It's just the word
Yeah,
means acids, bacteria, enzymes. It's just an
yeah,
easy one word acne.
digestion, fire to ignite. Yeah. If it's
Yeah.
low, then feed your acne. If it's too high, then soothe it, let it chill out.
Let it chill out. Put that fire out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, something that I hear a lot with family or just conversations, it's people think that disease comes with age, and that's a real myth buster. And I find it
Mm,
fascinating when people say, "Oh, my knees are getting old," and or like the dementia thing because they're old now, so now they
mm.
naturally have dementia. And it's like, no, dementia started like 20 years ago, and it's like an accumulation of many, many years. It's not
Yeah.
your age, it's because of the accumulation of toxins that haven't left your body.
I mean, they say dementia starts actually from the age of like 30, doesn't it?
Well,
It's
yeah,
like young.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
it's
same
just,
with all symptoms, though, isn't it?
yeah,
Really, but like when people come to work with me and they're like, "Oh, I suddenly have endometriosis," and
not
no,
sudden.
no, no, you didn't suddenly have it. You probably had it for 10 years, if not longer, and it's
Hmm.
slowly started, the immune system started getting disturbed, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually we hit Shukradatu, the last
Hmm.
tissue, and you get the menstrual symptoms. What about
Yeah.
the migraine that started 10
Yeah.
years ago that you
Yeah.
ignored? And it's like, it's not a blame game, but it's just
Totally not.
that awareness, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah. I remember like, I don't even remember sitting in my back garden and like going over our notes and talking about all the dark tooths. And I'd be like, Emma, could you just repeat that one just to like feed it into my skull? It was proper like kapha. You had like learnt it really quickly as like a pitta minded person. And then
You know
this
what it
kapha
is
was
though?
the
I'm good with numbers. I've always
Okay.
been good with numbers, and I think because I put them in a numerical order. So, where are we? I'm wondering whether we have a little bit of a chat about your healing and health, and maybe we could talk a bit about what drew you to Ayurveda in the
Mm,
first place, and yeah, going from modeling and healing and meeting
yeah.
Annie and where your health is now. I think it'd be really interesting to share like that for others to hear and motivate them, I think.
Yeah. So I've had quite a long journey into health and wellness, and then going into herbalism, learning the Western stuff, and then so the moment Annie taught me Western herbalism, and then the moment she sort of dropped the word Ayurveda, I kind of knew of it, but
Mm.
didn't know too much about it. I kind of knew the basic doshas, and that's all I kind of ever researched. But there was just something when she said Ayurveda, it was like my soul paid attention and I wanted to discover more. And then she was obviously doing apprenticeships, and that's obviously where we met. So
You met her on
um,
was it a herb walk?
yeah, well, I went to Trill Farm to do the
That was
years.
it. Mm.
Yeah. And then I did a few sort of apprenticeships after that. And then I then went into Ayurveda. So I kind of just didn't stop from that moment at Trill. I went, did some Western training, and then went into more training in Ayurveda because that was the one that I think I really understood. Um, but anyway, I was working in the fashion modeling industry for like 12 years. So I was scouted from the age of like 15 and then left at the age of 27, which is like Saturn return era. It was perfect
Yeah.
timing. Um, like I'd had daily meltdowns of not knowing what I was doing with my life, which I think is a beautiful opening to like this new discovery of your next path in life.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I was in an industry that was enjoyable. There's some good things about it. Lots of travel and meeting lots of people and seeing the world, and you get to obviously be made to look beautiful and wear very cool clothes and be in different shows, and all of the rest. It's a very colourful world to work in, but it also has a lot of darkness. And I was battling an eating disorder for a very long time. Um, and I think at a very pitta stage of my life, I was quite competitive and wanted to be the best. I I was like determined to do anything to be as skinny as possible. So
Mm.
um, yeah, I definitely felt that the pressure of the industry was like taking its toll, not just on a physical
Mm.
aspect, but my mental health was really challenged. And I wasn't good. So yeah, some of the things that I was experiencing, I was diagnosed with leaky gut syndrome,
Mm.
um, and couldn't like keep down food. I was like vomiting a lot, um, and I was having severe migraines. My like body would ache more like my bones and my joints and stuff. And just yeah, like really fatigued and didn't feel nourished at all, but wasn't really eating. And when I did eat, I was having reactions to the body, and I didn't know anything about food and the quality of that food or anything. I was thinking I was being pretty healthy, but
Mm.
I then I then had a really horrible episode where I was having wheat and I was having convulsions, and had like a mini heart attack. So it was a bit of a scary time. And then the doctor was like, "You're showing the exact symptoms of celiac disease, and you have to cut out wheat completely. You cannot have it in your body. It literally doesn't recognize it." So yeah, so then I was diagnosed as a celiac. And at this point, I came out of the modeling industry because there was no way we were allowed to even eat bread. So just because of carbs and putting on weight and stuff, and then wanted to put on weight because I was told that I was so unhealthily thin that I had to do something about it. So I came out of the industry and started wanting to sort of bulk up. And then even if I was doing that, it was damaging my health even more. So my immune system was like not in a good place. My gut health was just horrendous. And food, I was like intolerant to everything.
Mm.
And dairy and things like that I couldn't have. I was super sensitive. So I then took some time off like working, and I just was in a place where I think I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I needed to first of all just work on my health, like, because it was so bad. And then I went to see a herbalist. It was a friend of my mum's, and a TCM doctor, who was incredible, all incredible practitioners. I think I saw like a kinesiologist and a reflexologist within a month. I was like seeing one after the other. And within those 4 weeks, from like being absolutely depleted with no OJAS and like zero, just zero energy. I couldn't even really, I had like brain toxins as well from having reactions when I was, kind of discovering that I had celiacs. I just couldn't really think straight. But just during those 4 weeks of seeing these amazing practitioners, my life completely changed from like suffering for a very long time. Within 4 weeks, it was like all of a sudden my whole life and my health was like flipped a 180, and I felt like I had energy for the first time. My mind was a lot clearer. I had periods like regularly instead of irregular. I was barely bleeding because I wasn't eating, to then having these beautiful periods that were like bloody and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And like my health just changed literally, within that time. And
I
then
actually just wrote, so I just sorry to interject
no.
about that, but I did actually just write a post on Substack about how to get your period back, because I think so
Mm,
many people are losing their period, not so many people, so many women are losing their periods and not realizing that a lot of it can be to do with under eating,
yeah,
over exercising. I've had a few
yeah,
people ask me, I've lost my period, or it's like really irregular, and a lot of it is, all this sort of diet culture.
yeah,
I think we're moving into like people are learning about strength training more now, which is becoming a
yes,
real trend, which is actually
yeah,
great rather than, lots of high intensity all the time.
yeah. I mean, like they say, well, I've sort of discovered through my own practice and research, when women do so much cardio, they're actually having lighter periods, which I find
Yeah.
is really interesting. And it's probably to do with like what we're doing to our estrogen levels, etc.
Mm.
But I know obviously there's lots of research now about sort of slow, steady exercises with some weights is
Yeah.
way better for our hormone production and supports our bleeds.
Mm.
I remember reading this wonderful, I'll try and find it, but it was a theory on the reason why that's so effective is because we're kind of taking our body back to how it would have been when we were sort of living more indigenously. We
Oh,
would
yeah.
have been lifting and carrying things more,
Yeah, we
like
would.
children and whatever. And that's so much beneficial for our hormone production, and then our
Mm.
bleeds are better. So yeah, it's just really interesting how we're looking at these very ancient ways to refer to understanding our body, but in the modern sense of like going to the gym and just bearing a few weights. So where did I get to? I can't
And
remember.
also, we'll get back to that, but
Oh
also
yeah.
with the with exercise as well, something I also read about your mindset and your thought process whilst exercising, because
Yeah.
the mind and everything is still very primal. So if you're doing something that feels really stressful or you're miserable doing it, your brain is going to be in that. So if you're going
Yeah.
to like a dance class and you're exercising and you love it, that's going to be a very different thing to feeling like, I don't know, terrified, angry,
Mm,
doing something that doesn't feel right for your body, you feel drained.
yeah.
Equally,
Yeah.
both of them could be the same kind of amount of energy exposure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exposure,
Yeah.
expenditure.
Yeah.
But it's it's the same. And
Yeah. And even like cortisol, we should exercise to reduce cortisol, to kind of cook it, you don't want to cook it out of the body, but sort of metabolize it out of the body.
yeah,
But I think even we get into a culture of exercising or obsessively exercising where you're producing more cortisol. And then you've got like double hit of cortisol in your body, when actually we should be doing exercises that very much focus on cortisol and preventing it and reducing it. And so I think cortisol is such a topic at the moment, and
well, it
is,
is. Yeah.
yeah, massively affecting women's bodies in particular. And I was living off cortisol, so that was kind of my my fake life force, my fake ojas was cortisol and adrenaline. And
Mm.
then
I think
like you
most
can,
people are, aren't they? They're just literally
yeah,
they're in fight or flight. I mean,
all the time.
when I had my son, I feel like I spent so much time like in fight or flight, and the number one thing I realized that I was in it was because I was just rushing everywhere.
Mm,
Apparently, that's like the first sign to know that you're in sympathetic fight or flight all the time is because you're just in this rush, even
yeah.
though you haven't got to rush anywhere. But like, come on, get here, get to the car, get in it. And it's like, I'm trying to get there. I'm in traffic. It's like, what am I trying to rush for?
Yeah, where am I
My
going?
body is trying to get somewhere that I don't need to get to. It's
Yeah, but it's
interesting.
also the mind, isn't it? It's like that's where the mind is at. The body and the mind have like two different timelines, as I call it. And I think that the more we're sort of mindy and we spend more time on tech, um, I think with the speed of our mind is, on such a different scale than what the body wants to sort of cruise. I call it cruise control. I think the body wants to be on the same timeline as nature, but the
Yeah.
mind isn't. Mind's like, no, like never mind that. We don't even, we kind of blank it out. But if we can get the body and the mind to both be in the timeline of how nature is operating, then I think that alone, along with our diet and medicine and etc., it will be the sort of like the makings of humans again, I think.
Well, yeah, and I think it's also adding in like the element of being a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teaching my program as well, but it's like looking at female biology and that we are programmed differently. We have the infradian rhythm. So when we're bleeding and in our luteal, it's all to do with high vata, which actually is an Ayurvedic term. But then if we're looking at the sciences, we naturally have more cortisol at that time. So
Yeah.
we do actually need to be more restful and grounding. And then
Mm,
when we're in follicular and going through to ovulatory, we have less cortisol and we're actually in kapha time and then pitta
mm.
when we ovulate. So it's like you can kind of tune into that rhythm as well.
It's the seasons, isn't it? We literally have the seasons in us, and to live in accordance to that is it's a really beautiful thing to kind of come home to that as women. I think we've been so far removed from our natural seasonal way of being
Yeah.
that all of a sudden, we're kind of waking up to, yeah, there's this cycle in us that then changes, and then we live in these particular ways to support it.
Mm.
Is like the biggest form of self-love. I think it's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you start to connect all of the dots and you realize that we're not actually separate. And I don't know, you can get into that whole like we are one, but it's true, we are. And
Very
that's
true.
what
Yeah.
Ayurveda teaches us, that the elements that are within us are literally everywhere around us and it's not different, which is why when we connect with our dosha and we understand who we are and the dominant elements that make us up and how we interact with the world around us and the food that we eat and the people and the
Mm.
situationships and relationships,
Yeah.
everything that we experience actually gets digested in the gut and becomes us. You start
Yeah.
to realize that actually we're not separate from everything that's around us, and it's actually physics,
Yeah.
science. But I mean, it's very hard to explain, and sometimes you just need to feel into it, don't you?
Yeah. You do. It's an embodiment.
And we're so
Because
far removed from that in our
I know, but we're doing. I think people like us who are we've we have learned and we're still learning. We're bearing the torch for that knowledge,
um,
and
yeah.
like if we're living it ourselves, we're keeping it alive, and then if we're living it and providing it for other people, I think it's a growing, yeah, just a growing network of revived wisdom that we can't afford to lose, and we're not losing it because we're
No.
doing the jobs that we're doing.
It's true. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
AI coming in. It's really important that I think healers continue to do this work and pass it on, right?
yeah,
Need
yeah,
to pass
super
it
important. That's like, yeah, full on dharma energy.
on. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I interrupted you and you were talking about your healing journey and you were
Yes.
modeling and you lost so much
Yes.
weight and starting to go through healing after meeting her.
Yeah. So went through, yeah, 1 month turned into lots of months of just really looking after myself, and just was experiencing monumental change. And I felt like I had built this new body of energy and abundance and, yeah, just everything. And even just like getting back into hobbies and finding joy in things, I was sort of starting to do, and I wasn't in that place for a long time. So even that was like nourishment, and I had the energy to do it. So it was an all-round kind of, yeah, experience. And then the penny dropped, and I was like, wow, like I've had my life changed in 4 weeks.
Mhm.
I could learn something like this, and then I could then perhaps provide it or just keep on doing it for myself. But I want to learn this stuff. That I think this is it. I think this is the calling. And then I was looking for like apprenticeships, and something that was very like hands-on. I think that kapha element of always needing to touch
Mm.
and like engage in the senses. So I was like, what can I do? And then I found an apprenticeship, a Western herbalism apprenticeship that Annie was doing. Um, and so I applied for it and then didn't hear back. And then so I kind of like gave it up to the universe. I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's just not meant to be. I'll just kind of do some home study. And my mum had these old books, and they were all Annie McIntyre books that she used to have when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay, like I can see what's happening. And then I think the day that I discovered my mum's books, I got an email from like Annie's like admin assistant saying, hey, like we've got a space, like do you want it? So then I did an apprenticeship with Annie for a year, and then she dropped Ayurveda, and I was like, okay, oh bless you.
Out of nowhere.
cut that bit out. um and then
The
yeah,
sun's
and then
shining in suddenly.
oh
Got my
yeah,
sensitive blue eyes. The sun came in and I was like, gotcha.
oh um
Annie
and then
McIntyre, yeah.
and back on that one. So then yeah, and then went into Ayurveda, and then that's where I met you. And then
Mm.
it just never came off the path. It was like it was always meant to kind of end this way. And yeah, and it's forever. It's like it's a forever journey, and I'm constantly, even though I've done my 5 years in Ayurveda, um I yeah, just feel like it's a beautiful path of constant unfolding, and there's not a finish line of like learning all of the knowledge, because there's no such thing. And yeah, just working with Annie completely changed my life. And yeah, I always will have like, yeah, like her as a part of a, yeah, huge journey. She's kind of a bit of an archetype.
Yeah, she's an amazing mentor. She's got so much
Yeah,
experience, hasn't she?
yeah, she just knows so much.
She does, and the torch has passed to us, and
I
we're
know
on, which is
we
brilliant.
bear the torch.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So that's kind of, yeah, that's been the journey. And
Mm.
um yeah, providing service. And I went for a big rebrand this year, and created a herbal range, and just yeah, doing and providing
Your drops are
anything.
amazing, by the way. I
Are
tried.
you are you on them now? Are you
They're
taking them?
so good. It's like honey. It's like
Yeah.
pink honey. I probably had more than I should have
I was
had.
gonna say, remember to stick to the
I,
dosage.
I know. I was like, oh, it's like honey. I thought it could be possibly bitter because chamomile can be bitter too, but it wasn't because I guess the glycerin makes it
Mm.
super yummy as well.
Yeah, it's this like sweet nectar, right? The ambrosia.
Because like I'm not someone who tends to buy products and things. I am more of a grabber, make a tea. But
Yeah,
actually, I think just as a busy mum as well, that's so nice to have in my bag that I can,
yeah.
if I'm feeling particularly anxious or if I've got a bit of something going on with my gut, and it feels a bit
Mm.
after a heavy meal, can just like
Yeah,
the inflammation, or like
yeah.
you said as well, sadhaka pitta, like picturing
Hmm.
the mind, feeling perfectionism and all of that. Just a couple of drops.
Yeah, yeah.
Oscar had some too. He loved it.
Goody.
It's like,
Oh,
it's honey. And I was like, no, it's not.
oh.
But it's medicine and it's really good.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, glycerites are, yeah, they're kind of they're a beautiful way of extracting herbs. And I didn't want to make blends because there's so many sort of, big brands out there, and I'm not a big brand, I'm a herbalist, and I kind of
Yeah.
always will come back to that. But
Mm.
yeah, I didn't want to make, I don't want to shove like 15 herbs in, um, you know, and have it all factory made. That just was
No.
never the
Well, there's a lot of
intention.
love that goes into making medicine as well. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a lot of white label stuff
yeah,
out I've seen quite a few actually more recently where I've spoken to some brands. They have no idea what's in their products.
No,
Like, and I
no.
question them, and it's like, and then people just buy into the supplement market, and then I think back to, even when I was making products and
Mm,
I ordered in loads of herbs. Like as a herbalist, I knew when there was a herb that wasn't the herb, when they've made
yeah.
an error. One day, yeah, it was meant to be chamomile, but it definitely wasn't chamomile because I knew. Luckily, it wasn't completely chopped that fine.
Okay.
Some of the leaves were still in there, and I'm so sure it was ragwort. You could see like the
Okay.
waviness of the
Yeah.
leaf. So disgusting. I tried a tiny bit to put it in my mouth to see, and
Yeah.
it's in that bag. I
Oh
wonder how
no.
many times that things like that go out.
Yeah, I mean it's like quality control or whatever they call it, right? But it's yeah, it's a thing. And especially, I have such a thing about um, you know, the provider, if we're not sort of growing it ourselves. I mean, the rose drops that I make are purely a rose farm in Glastonbury that are biodynamic and organic. So, for those guys, I know it's completely safe, and I grow the rosemary that goes into the rosemary drops. So yeah, it's very, I mean, like knowing your ingredients as a herbalist is super important, and you could
Yeah.
just have any little thing that could completely not make a good product but be quite harmful as well.
Oh,
So
awful.
that
Yeah.
awareness is like paramount.
It's just lots of people jumping on the supplement market. And again, the clients that come to me, they're on like so many supplements and you just
Mm,
don't need them. You're probably peeing them all out. I
yeah,
definitely agree with capsules most of the time. On occasion,
yeah,
it can work, but you're just
yeah,
passing the tongue receptors, bitter receptors anyway.
yeah.
And what's in it? It's
Because the tongue's reading everything, right? So if it's encapsulated, it cannot read
And
the
suddenly it's like a
supplement.
bomb in the stomach that has to then experience, oh, what's this? Try and break down the 20 herbs that's in there. The liver then has to deal with all of that. That
Yeah,
put more pressure on the liver when it's already quite fucked from the environment.
yeah,
Like all
yeah.
the
And
feeding.
toxins.
And then it's just like another thing to deal with. And are they even nutritious? Who knows what
Mm,
the
yeah,
quality?
we don't know.
And then another thing I experienced, I mean, we're moving into so many subjects on this call. It's really, but this is my personality anyway. Like this brand, follow this path.
Is that not a
Um,
little bit of that's a bit of Vata in you, is it not?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Follow this trail.
Yeah.
But again, like when I was making my products, I don't know if you've experienced this, that I would always, yeah, look at where I'm sourcing from. I used to use a lot of organic herb trading because
Mm,
I like to know exactly where the herb's coming from.
yeah.
They're pretty good at traceability.
Yeah.
They're very good, not pretty good, very good at traceability. And yeah, I've lost my train of thought. What was it? I'm making
Sort of suppliers and being,
yeah, so
transparent. Okay.
I would only buy organic herbs.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want any toxins or chemicals interacting with people when they're healing.
Yeah.
But because I was then in my own environment, putting them together, they apparently were considered not organic anymore and had to pay for organic certificate.
Right.
And the kind of weird loop thing there is that I wonder how many people just buy any herbs.
Mm,
And then once you've got them in your space, your kitchen or whatever, you just pay for an organic certification and
yeah.
your product's organic.
Yeah.
You can have an organic product with non-organic herbs. But I
Yeah.
had organic herbs. I didn't want to pay for the certification, so it wasn't an organic product.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
logistics of it all.
I know. It's mind blowing. I remember talking to like the founder of Pukka. He actually lives just down the road from me.
Oh, amazing.
And he's kind of been a bit of a mentor occasionally. And all of my plants are biodynamic and organic. So, but to get them certified is like super
It's
expensive.
so
It's like
expensive.
getting the B Corp stamp or whatever. So there's a lot of sort of financial strain when it comes to sort of product making, unless you're sort of, I don't know, have a huge investor, which was never the route that I went down. I kind of self-funded my rebrand and kind of got it done, yeah, in 2.5 years. And yeah,
Mm.
that was kind of the route that I wanted to take. But I looked at kind of getting that official stamp and I was like, oh, okay, look, it's going to cost there's several £1,000s just bumped on top of what you're spending anyway. But I also have a thing about we don't pay enough attention on the power of one herb. And obviously, we
Yeah,
want to,
exactly. We don't need
yeah,
100 herbs.
no. No, because one herb is can do so many. In Ayurveda, you could just look at all the, properties of what it does to every single dosha. And so for me, I didn't want to be like the rest of the market, and it's taking sort of longer and slower to get out there because it is very, niche. But
Mm.
for me, as a herbalist, and I specialize in Ayurveda, and it was so important to, yeah, celebrate and shine the light on just the power of like taking rose.
Yeah.
Rose can do so many things. Like Rose is like
Like
limitless.
an endless list. I know it's funny,
Yeah.
isn't it, when clients say to you, "What does that herb do?" And I'm like,
I'm
"Oh,
like, have you got all
add your
day?
dad." It's like
Yeah.
a whole list of things. But
Yeah.
yes, it's calming one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're not going to go into that now, but
No,
yeah, it's I think that's just something for people to be aware of. Like, don't be a fool for just the branding and
the pretty box.
it
It's
could be
like,
organic and B Corp, but actually is it? And I think
yeah,
always look into the brand and the people behind it, like who's actually running it. I think it
yeah.
be cautious of all the marketing,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah, because I think these big sort of companies obviously don't want to say names, but they've nailed having like a big marketing team to make everything look so,
oh yeah,
cool. And
they just throw money at it. Make, you can, yeah, it's just money, isn't it? That's the
it's just money. Yeah, not actually health and healing. Yeah, it's like completely digresses from the point of like why you're making a product in the first place. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's why our work is so important now, because we've got to really teach people how to live, because that's the real ticket, isn't it, that people are missing and forgetting. Like hospitals are just rammed, there's no space. My
yeah,
grandma was in hospital recently and
mm,
she had to be in the hallway and it's like there's no
yeah,
room. And I'm just like, why are we in this like where it's like an epidemic of people
mm,
that don't know how to look after themselves. They go because they have a migraine in A&E and it's like
yeah,
we just need to teach people what the cause of all these things are.
yeah,
So that, yes, we can heal ourselves to an extent. And then if we need to go,
yeah,
then it's there as a last resort emergency. Fantastic. But
yeah.
it's like losing all that wisdom. It's,
I mean, wouldn't it be amazing? I kind of daydream and fantasize about living in a time where we work with doctors in the sense of a patient goes in, and if the doctor can't or doesn't really know what to do with them, which sometimes is the case in a lot of situations, then we have referral. They get sent to us, like get referred to a herbalist, but
I know.
we're at a place where we're just not regarded like
It's
doctors, even though we
hierarchy.
have to do the same training. It's like, and some. It is hierarchical, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wish it's more like that we can actually work as a team rather than like, oh, you're better and we're not. And
Yeah,
alternative. It doesn't have to be alternative. It can actually be complementary and holistic
yeah,
together. Like
yeah.
I do like modern medicine in many ways. I wouldn't, had a car accident, I wouldn't be going to a herbalist.
No, no,
shop.
it's like, yeah, you
But
need to, emergency care is there for a reason. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But it is the OG medicine, so I don't understand why 2025 we're not prioritizing it
Well,
like
we
we should.
understand why.
Or we do understand why. We know the reason.
Financial gain.
Yes, exactly. Like poorly people don't make money. Well,
Exactly.
so they do make money.
Yeah. Well,
Better
people don't
people
make money.
don't make money. Yeah,
Better to keep them sick on a pill than to actually help them get better. Yeah. Or just
yes,
keep cutting it out and then it'll come back and then keep cutting it out.
yeah.
The same thing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
so many people are starting to wake up to it. But I think even myself, like when I was waking up to the system, it's so hard to actually admit that or
Mm-hmm.
feel like you've been that betrayed by someone that is meant to be there helping you. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's necessarily always like the direct nurse or doctor. I think they go into their profession with a lot of care,
Yeah.
do good, but
Mm.
the system as a whole, how it's designed, and there's that. I think once you accept this is actually the way things are, it kind of opens so many rabbit holes, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, actually, okay, I really
Yeah.
need to actually learn something myself, and
Yeah, yeah, it's a big thing to admit as as a personal thing that yeah, I remember sort of like entrusting in the system. I was on like 8 different antibiotics and it just
yeah,
absolutely thrashed my gut, and it leaky gut syndrome was a outcome of that, and I do believe that celiac disease was an outcome of that. But also yeah, there is a thing that you have to kind of come to terms with, and it's that yeah, sort of waking up and realizing that you know we are responsible with what we choose for ourselves.
Mm.
And, if we're choosing modern medicine, which might not be the best option, then there is like a self accountability
Yeah.
process, I think. Yeah.
Well, most people are just blindly following because that's what everyone else does, isn't
It's easy. It's like it's comfortable. It's like,
it? Mm.
yeah, convenience. We've built a whole life. Modern life is built on convenience, where convenience sometimes doesn't serve us the
Yeah.
best way.
Take a pill, but it's not actually going to help in the long run.
No, absolutely not. It's not
Yeah,
going to the motherboard, is it?
it's not going to the motherboard. I was going to say something on the back of that and I lost what it was. What was
Was it uh oh,
Oh,
Emma.
leaky gut and antibiotics and all that. That was interesting because
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but when I'm going through a consultation, a lot of the time, clients are like, I have no idea why I have all these gut symptoms, for example, like reflux and burping and bloating or whatever it is, loose stools, and they're just like, I once upon a time had really good gut and my diet's pretty good and da, da, da. But then we go through a lot of the history of things and it's, they were on the pill, which we know is actually
Yeah.
is an antibiotic. Then you had ear
It's
infection.
also now officially a carcinogen.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah,
not crazy. I all knew it all along, but here we
yeah,
are in
yeah,
2025, finally admitting something.
yeah.
Finally admitting it. Um, and yeah, on the pill, and then several rounds of antibiotics for like ear infections as a kid, and then UTIs as a teenager, more rounds of antibiotics. Maybe they
Mhm,
had acne as well, more rounds of antibiotics. Spent their whole life drinking tap water, using Teflon pans.
mhm,
It just starts to build, doesn't it? And suddenly, bam, at 25, you've got celiac disease or leaky gut, and you've suddenly got loads of anxiety, which is a sign also of gut dysfunction.
mhm. Yeah, it goes
Migraines,
straight to the brain. Yeah.
all these symptoms that are suddenly like arising, which are not so sudden, but we're not taught as a child. Like, how many kids are currently starting off their life with so many vaccines, so many antibiotics for every single little infection they get?
Mm.
And it's already like your gut's destroyed. Oh, yes, he's got a dairy intolerance. Oh, right, has he? And then it just
He
starts
doesn't have an
from
intolerance.
there. And then you're
He-
eating crap food because we're in
Yeah,
absolutely chaotic world with a high living crisis.
yeah,
It's just it's already built for failure.
yeah,
And it's not
yeah,
the client's fault, but it's just like again, the system is set up for failure.
yeah, yes, yeah. Isn't that wild? The system is set up for failure.
But why is it set up for failure? For financial gain.
Yeah, because it's
All the
profitable.
it's the same thing. And it's like you're, putting kids in school and they're basically being taught to follow and to not
Yeah,
question,
to
to do
feed
as
the
they're told and
system.
to sit still in their chair. And then you basically design a citizen that does as they're told. And then what again? Financial gain. I mean,
I think it's called enslavement.
mm, yeah,
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's sort of like, yeah, definitely well, it's a programming, isn't it?
yeah.
It's a brainwashing to then we don't wake up to it and be like, hang on, like we're not living right. Like you can't eat
Mm.
out of a can, you can't swallow a pill and then just expect to get on with your life and there not be any, you know, balance and harmony. Like that balance and harmony is not going to be there over long term.
No. Well, this is the kind of thing with when I changed my business when I was like lady apothecary and then she
Mm.
and
The
I
mushroom lady.
she was the mushroom lady. That's what you said to me,
I
wasn't
knew it was you. I
it?
was like,
The mushroom lady.
we were in class, and I was like, I know that face. Why do I know that face? I was like trying to like go back into my brain of like, why? How is she? I was like, Instagram. I was like, Lady Apothecary, and I was like, oh, she's the mushroom lady, and used to make these best, like the best. Like they were like mushroom blends, weren't they? With
Yeah, well, I
herbs in
did like a
them.
kind of coffee alternatives because
Oh,
I'm such a coffee girl and
yeah,
I need like something to calm that craving down. And it did work for some time. I'm back on coffee now. I still appreciate the dandelion and the reishi and the Chinese
yeah.
blends and all of that, but I like a bit of both and I quite like to mix them with coffee and also making like the lovely shatavari chai for
Mm,
ability.
yes.
But
I,
Harvard Baronian makes them now, so
oh yes, yes, yeah. In those lovely tins.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But um Well, how did we get onto that bit again? They're terrible. I feel like my brain just like dots
Yeah,
around.
mine's the same.
Making the mushroom lady, and then
Mushroom lady, you're the mushroom
oh
lady.
yeah, I was rebranding to ARTÄ
Oh
Healing
yes.
because I felt like I was in that allopathic cycle of just clients would come to me, I'd write the prescription, they'd take it, they'd get better. A year later, they'd come back to me because the missing kind of, this is before I studied with Annie or in the middle of, because I knew some things about Ayurveda and I'd already done it for myself,
Mm.
right? I knew and integrated it into my own life, but just wasn't teaching that part, which is like
Mm.
dishing out the herbs. And yeah, that was the big key change with ARTA because I was like, okay, I actually need to teach people. So
And what you've created is absolutely
yeah, now
impeccable.
people are just staying better because they have the tools. Isn't that like the key thing is like we're meant to be teaching people to be their own healer, right? Not
Yeah,
otherwise it's the same dynamic, but in a holistic setting of being
yeah.
patient practice.
Returning.
Like just
It's
back
the
again.
most wonderful thing is when you don't have a returning client in the nicest way possible, guys, if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
listening. But like,
Disappear. I don't want to see
yeah,
you again.
yeah, for you not to return, it's like we've done our job right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like a lot of the clients said. We just finished a round and started a new one. And a lot of them said it's like I'm not in a position where things are perfect and I haven't cleared all my symptoms, but I see a reduction, which is like so motivating.
Mm,
Then I know what I did and I know what to do. And isn't that amazing?
yeah.
Like one of my clients was just like, I've had this awful migraine, and for the first time, I actually don't feel really stressed out about it. I know
Amazing.
why
It's
I got it.
yeah.
I
People.
burnt myself out and da 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 and da da. And then my migraine came, and I knew a herb that I could take to bring my, Vata down. And
Yeah, I mean, like it's almost like we're kind of giving people back their autonomy.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
which is actually very political in a silent way.
There is a lot of politics in there. Yeah, there's a whole
Yeah,
other subject.
you back
And
your
feminism and all of the rest. Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to know a bit more about where you're at with your health now, things that you're
Yeah.
working on doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So health wise, I've been well for a long time. But I definitely as a woman, in my 30s, have sort of felt sort of almost like every year felt slightly different.
Mm.
And I felt like my energy really sort of declined. Um, and I think with that kapha element, we do have quite a bit of ojas and some stamina. And that has sort of been a bit depleted a few years ago. And I kind of didn't see why. And then I remember sort of like, I think I was on my period one day and I was walking down, and it was a summer's day. It was really hot and I nearly passed out. And I was like bleeding heavily. And I had to like get my friend to go into a shop and get me a can of Coke, which is not my chosen, ingredient to work with as a herbalist. But I think,
In a moment of emergency, though, it can be quite.
yeah, like you need sugar to kind of like, wake up before. Because I'm quite prone to fainting. So yeah, so I was like, well, something's up. Like I'm on my period and I've never felt this sort of like, yeah, it was like depletion, but very quickly. And like I was losing a lot of blood. Um, and so after that moment, I think I had every period was very much like that. And I couldn't even work and I had to kind of go to bed. Definitely couldn't drive a car. So I knew something was going on hormonally. And then um, I think it was like I had my period. I was with my friend and we were in a spa, and I ended up having like a bleed that wasn't a period, but it was like an internal bleed. And I was like, God, like I'm a bit scared. I've never had this. So I took myself to hospital, which is the last place that I wanted to go to. But I think when all of a sudden you can't go into herbal mode and you need someone giving you sort of emergency attention, it's a whole different story. So I was kept in hospital for 2 days because the pain, I had such extreme pain on my right hand side, like where my ovary is. And I was like, oh my God, like this is insane. Um, and I went to see a gynecologist and then they did some tests and they did a scan, like an internal scan, and they could see that I had a cyst growing on the right ovary. And they were like, okay, so you've got PCOS, it's really common. It's almost like they were just reading off, like,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, a receipt from the shopping market, like a supermarket. They were just sort of spieling off this information with like no warmth or care, or like I was the fifth woman that they saw that morning, with the same thing. And they were like, so you've got PCOS, it's very normal, and you're
Very
probably going to
normal.
have yeah, you're going to have like irregular periods, you're going to have like random bleeding, and the likelihood of you having children, if that's what you want, is very small. Like you'd be considered infertile. And I was like,
Oh, lovely.
this bomb just dropped on you on a like Tuesday afternoon. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I was not prepared for this. But I think it's so different when I think I said in my voice note this morning
Mm.
to you, like, it's so different when you're a practitioner and then you go through something, you kind of don't expect it, but also when you do, it's very hard to separate from you as a personal person and a practitioner. It can be so messy, and you almost need to like pretend that you don't know anything about herbalism and Ayurveda to see other people so they can like put you in their care. And I'm talking about natural, health and healing. Um, yeah, I think to kind of disassociate in a healthy way is really good, because then you are entrusting and you can gain more clarity when you're putting that care into someone else's hands.
Yeah.
So I found it really hard to sort of self-treat, and I have been, because I have the tools and the background and everything, but I've been on my own personal journey when it comes to, yeah, sort of stabilizing hormones and getting to the root of the cause. And um, my whole diet's had to change, and my supplements have had to change, and teas have had to change, and just like everyday rituals, and really checking in with like cortisol.
Yeah.
Is like the main thing, I think, is like cortisol production, and seeing, yeah, how much we are producing, or how we're living to produce it or not to produce it.
Did they also check for like testosterone levels though, or like the
No,
blood sugar or anything? No.
no, but it's interesting, because I think my particular PCOS is like insulin resistance, and
Mm.
my mum is a type 1 diabetic, so I do feel like I don't obviously want to encourage it or manifest it, because there's so many things that I can do and we can do as practitioners, but I just feel that I, as a
It's
child,
metabolic, isn't it,
it's
piece?
totally, yeah.
It's not
And
food, but yeah.
I definitely think I have insulin stuff going on. And I was always hypoglycemic as a kid, which is
Yeah.
very pitta, obviously,
Mm.
and can still, if I don't eat regularly, like I'm prone to fainting like
Mm.
pretty quick. So I think I think the main cause of it is this insulin issue, and it's just living life with food choices. Obviously, in Ayurveda, everything starts with food before you even have herbs,
Yeah.
and food choices are helping, and been the kind of the main balancer in the whole process, with then herbs on top. But yeah, I'm definitely going through my own health journey, and that is the reality. Like, sometimes us
Mm.
healers and health professionals have to face our own things sometimes.
Yeah, we're only human, and also it is very hard to, I find, heal ourselves. There's to an extent, and I think that's why Ayurveda is so brilliant because that does teach you to be your own healer.
Mm,
There is, like we said, that it is quite hard to sometimes see yourself. It's always good to
mhm,
have like, you know, someone to bounce off of, other healers and other people's views and other people's ideas, and
mhm.
it's like our sort of habits and our tendencies that we might not even realize about ourselves that other people
Yeah.
see in us, which
Yeah.
it's always great to go and see another healer, even if you're a healer. So,
Yeah. Yes. I think it's like, yeah, I think if anyone's sort of learning healing, a type of healing, then I think it's actually a priority that we should be learning as soon as we enter the kind of healer's path, is that we need our healers in place that hold us and help us through that process.
yeah.
Yeah, and the things that we have to face,
Mm.
because we are human, like you say.
I was interested, so are your cycles irregular at the moment, though?
But back to being on the clock, like super
They're on the
regular, but
been
they were very irregular.
they were very irregular.
Yeah. And I actually stopped having them last year. I didn't have 3 periods in a row, and I was like in
Yeah.
panic station. Obviously, I know from an Ayurvedic level that it's I don't need to panic. Like it's just
But like,
things that,
yeah, what's
yeah,
going on?
yeah,
Interesting. So your body gave you the signs before anyway, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of inkling as to where it was coming from?
I think
Yes,
if
everyone.
if I was sort of looking at from again from the Ayurvedic lens, I think well, I actually, so zooming all the way back to like my teens, I was a late developer,
Mm.
but I didn't eat. I had like an eating, well, I did eat. I just had an eating disorder, which was everything was very restricted. So I
Oh,
was the development sort of stage of life when it comes to reproductive wasn't being nourished efficiently with nutrition and food. So
mm.
I think I've caused some sort of developmental imbalance, if we're kind of taking it way back sort of
Mm.
historically. But also, I was on the pill a lot,
Mm.
and there's now researchers that are talking about PCOS as majority of women that have PCOS. I think it's like 1 in 3 women today have PCOS.
And one of the causes of PCOS is the pill.
The
It's the
contraceptive pill.
rebound.
Yeah,
When you stop taking it, you get the testosterone spike.
yeah, yeah. So I think the main cause of it was being on the pill for so long, and I was on different ones because mentally I was like not okay.
Yeah.
And I also think, I don't know, from sort of like a epigenetic sense, have I got the kind of precursor to being diabetic because I have a mother who is?
Yeah.
Um,
It
that's
might have
also
been
in the
like,
mix.
we talk about it in Ayurveda as like a you've got like a weaker area, right?
Hmm.
Which we can switch on or switch off. And
Yeah,
your predisposition of insulin and blood sugar could be a weaker area of yours. And then because of, in my sort of mind, because of all of the eating disorder and messing with blood sugar without,
mhm,
unconsciously being very pitta, because I personally feel that PCOS is the burnt out pitta woman,
for sure.
undernourished. I don't tend to, I think some people talk about it being kapha, but I don't, just because it's
Mm,
polycystic. I mean, the ovaries
yeah.
are full of follicles, they are full of cysts, technically. I don't really
Mm.
see that as, and I see it as a very much a burnt out pitta picture.
Yeah, it's hormonal, right? So it's the hormones are ruled by pitta. So
I
to
think,
be hormonally imbalanced, it would
mm,
be, yeah, I think it was more of a pitta dosha imbalance for sure.
yeah, and then all of the, I mean, your body, if you're going through the under eating and having the absent cycles, which we call hypothalamic amenorrhea, right? The H,
Hmm.
which then can cause a lot of stress in the body. High cortisol. High cortisol causes insulin problems,
Hmm.
insulin resistance, which then triggers testosterone. So it's that whole cycle that's happening.
Yeah,
We know it's a metabolic disorder, can be which affects testosterone and our hormones. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, then the research shows that I don't know if you know this, probably you do, but like when you're looking at an ovary and if it is particularly cystic, actually it's I think some people when they think of like a cyst on an ovary, they think of like this big pussy cyst.
yeah,
Not like that. It's
no,
actually it might be that you've just got a lot of follicles, a lot of eggs, right, that haven't ovulated. And
yeah.
you get irregular cycles, you're not ovulating regularly and you get a build up. So it could be just that you need to ovulate,
I
right?
think it's purely based on ovulation health for sure, and
Yeah.
like what encourages that, is from an Ayurvedic sense. Where's your joie de vivre? Where's your ojas?
Amazing. Lot of these. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
And
We're
it's
all
interesting. I think, visually, I think people think, oh, she's so healthy. She's got this thick hair and these big blue eyes and whatever. And but actually, even someone with kapha dosha or looks like they've got a lot of ojas might not actually have a lot of ojas inside. So what you look like is kind of a bit of a disguise.
yeah, it's
Um,
true. Of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think herbalists still very much go through their own
Okay.
health stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can also have like I mean, you can still be very high pitter and burnt out, can't you? And still look okay on the outside.
Yeah, like perfect and be the girl boss and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like it's most people I speak to, they're either going through the PCOS picture or the endometriosis picture.
Mm,
Which scale is it? Do you know? Like more
yeah.
estrogen, more testosterone, like, and it's again the modern world that we live in, it's hard.
It is hard. Yeah.
Regulated. Yeah. Yeah. Well, something that I guess links to the Ayurveda goddess. I don't know about, I mean, you did start to mention about the goddesses, the Greek ones, or the
Hmm.
gods and goddesses. But with my practice, I connect Pitta to Durga,
Okay.
much so. Um, I'm having a brain fog day. Lakshmi,
Okay.
I think.
Lakshmi is,
Lakshmi is Kapha.
yeah.
And
I
then,
always think of like milk.
yeah, milk, roses, honey. She's just like,
Yeah, totally like kapha
and then you
energy.
see like Saraswati with her music. That's so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are the three archetypes that I use if you're looking at the Indian kind of thing.
Interesting.
And then you've also got, I guess, whether it's, I don't know actually, because you know a lot more about Celtic than me, right? Are you more Celtic?
Mm,
Not really. I'm
no.
wondering whether there's, so we've got obviously the wild woman, wise woman, the
Okay.
um
Crone, mother. Is that
yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, well, the wise woman is also the crone, I think. So
Oh, yeah.
wise woman,
Okay.
wild woman, mother, and the it's all about youth, right? The maiden.
Maiden. Yeah.
So, I guess you can also connect it to that.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, from
I
like
would
more of
say,
a home, I guess like more indigenous to our,
yeah,
well,
exactly. Bringing
pre-Christian culture.
Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's the Greeks, which should be interesting to look at, but
I would say like with the Greeks, I always think of like Aphrodite
yeah.
as Kapha.
Hmm.
Um, I think like Athena probably is like Pitta. She was like ready for war
Yeah, she's all about
and
the high.
justice and
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's
and
quite.
then Psyche or Psyche for Vata, which is the little harpist and the lullaby.
Hmm.
She would sing a lullaby and she's etheric, like from the
What about
ether.
Artemis? Where does she fall in?
Well, she's actually linked to mugwort, right? So dreaming, which is
Hmm,
Vata.
could be, yeah.
Yeah,
Artemis, Aphrodite, and what was the other one?
Athena.
Athena.
Yeah, yeah, Athena. Like she had like a her armor on her. She was like they call her the peaceful warrior.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So I think there's like many correlations to um yeah, like the Greek. I mean, I obviously grew up with like learning Greek myths and things like
Yeah.
that. So
I
it's
really want to start integrating that more and listen to there's that book. My brain today.
not mythos.
Yeah, Mythos. There we go.
Yes.
Not that hard, is it? Mythos,
It's like
yeah.
this,
I've
it
listened
means
to it
story.
once. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really remembered a lot of it and I'd like to integrate that and also the Celts and the Celtic goddesses because a lot of it wasn't written down. It was all part
Yeah, it's like through spoken word, right?
exactly and they didn't want it to but they were very much living in line with nature and it was very much a matriarchal and I think it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to try. I know there's like if you look at there's like Brid is it Bridget, I think?
Yeah, it's a Irish goddess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
spring, and yeah,
Yeah.
we can also integrate that. I guess it just depends on the you can make it your own. I guess that is
Can
one
make it your own. Yeah, I think for me, when
element.
I kind of refer to sort of the Greek myth, it's almost like I'm tapping in to
Mm,
my own genetics or that's being expressed through my work. It's
yeah,
like both. I'm like going in it, but I'm also expressing it,
yeah,
and sharing it through, yeah, just through, I guess, genes and um, yeah, like it's my mother line essentially.
yeah. We actually
Yeah.
have an Ayurvedic talk tonight. We're going to talk through our doshas, do like a little
Cool.
reading circle, which I'm looking forward to. So it's
Yeah.
good to talk about these archetypes and, in a more modern way, I would say that Pitta is like the leader.
Hmm.
Kappa is the nurturer, and
Yeah.
there is probably more linked to being the artist, maybe.
Yeah, like imagination.
Which
Yeah.
artist can mean so many things. Leader can mean so many. I mean,
Or like the visionary, because they're kind of Vatas when they're stable. They are very insightful people, they kind of they tap into that etheric world, and they might sort of download from the ether to sort of reality. I feel like Pitta is very reality based.
Yeah.
The here and the now, they're in the room. And then Kapha's almost like behind the scenes people. They're the people that you'll see tidying up and just sort of making sure that everyone's got their cup of tea. They're kind of, yeah, they're not worried about being
They're
at
not,
the forefront.
that's the thing, isn't it? They're just not bothered.
They're just not bothered. Where I'm quite a bothered person. I look like I'm chill, but yeah, I do like
You
to,
definitely have more of a Pitta mind, for sure.
yeah, it's all in here for
Mm.
sure. Yeah. But then when I met you, I was like, oh, she's so calm. She's like this little blonde angel of just sweetness
I
and
think we're opposites though in that respect. Like I think your physique is more Kappa because you're tall and like all your features, and your mind is very Pitta. Whereas like I do have some Pitta traits in my mind, but I actually am also very Kappa minded, and my I feel like my physical looks a bit more Pitta
yeah, for
actually.
sure.
And like the
Yeah.
first thing that people always, oh, you're Pitta because you're blonde and you've got pale pinky skin and the way you are and the way that you look and da, 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 like with my sight and
Mm,
I was like, yeah, but also like I am actually, it takes me a lot to get motivated. I'm actually very resilient and I mean, yeah, I have a bit of both, but I do see my mind as quite Kappa actually.
mm.
Where on my business obviously is very Pitta,
Yeah, like visually what you've created, and
Pitta,
it looks very organized.
don't they?
It's like that is so Pitta, and everything's like color coordinated.
Oh, you know me.
I mean, like every outfit you've ever been in, Emma, is like always perfect, like your color tones, and it's
It's
just
funny 'cause I
perfectly
just don't
matched.
see that myself. It's hilarious. Like you don't really see it, but it's just like when you're in it,
It's
embodied.
your normal, isn't it?
Thanks, Harriet.
That's fine, love, anytime.
It's been great talking to you.
Oh, I feel like we could
Yeah,
just carry on. I feel like we've just only opened the door, and there's so many things to talk about
I
in
know. Yeah.
herbalism, but just the ancient ways, and how I have this saying, and it's on my website, that the ancient is the advanced, and that's something that I will always kind of, yeah, express through my work always. And we have a lot to thank when it comes to ancient tradition and
You
indigenous
do.
cultures, and when it comes to understanding the body, because the ones that have been on the planet for a long time, and we have to almost be in thanks, because otherwise we wouldn't be sat here, due to
Mm.
our ancestors and things like that. But the ancients, they know exactly, yeah, they know exactly how the body worked and what plants do, and it's not archaic, it's incredibly intelligent and advanced. So I always say the ancient is the advanced.
It's true. It's very true. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people think that, yeah, the old, the traditional is like, in the past and they had no idea what they're talking about. And it's
Mm,
hilarious to me because I think they were so up here. They knew
mm,
everything. And we're just
mm.
like only scratching the surface. We're only finally saying about the gut. And it's like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the same with the civilizations, we think that the way they lived was in mud huts, and I'm just not sure I believe that either.
No,
So
no.
there's a real awakening that needs to happen, and it's a shift in mindset as well with health. A lot of clients, they come to me with such like disconnect with their bodies, hating their symptoms. Why me? Like victim like hood, and why did my body give me this? And it's,
Mm,
I'm totally there. I've been there, been the victim, been
mm,
so like angry with myself and disconnected. But actually, when we can learn to
mm.
understand what the symptom is leading back to, I call it symptoms as messages. Like that's
Yeah, it's the
what
language,
it
isn't it?
is. It's like learning what your body's trying to tell you, and
Mm,
symptoms haven't just suddenly arisen. I
mm-mm. No,
think when
it's
you have
yeah,
that mindset switch, that actually what is your body trying to tell you? Yeah, actually
yeah,
powerful.
it is very powerful. Yeah, like what the symptoms are. Yes, it's just the language, it's just the body finally speaking, because it has to, because something isn't right. And when you go back to what isn't right, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it actually comes from a long time ago, not this thing that you've woken up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole story, a whole narrative.
Keeping it all alive, all this
That's it.
wisdom.
I
Brilliant.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very lucky to know it.
Yeah.
There's like I
Mm.
don't know, it's very humbling to know what we do. It's
Mm.
yeah, it feels like a very, even though it's hard, and we're sort of every day it's about giving people the awareness and the education that you can trust what we do. But I also feel that I feel very incredibly grateful and very privileged, because there's almost like a privilege in being well and treating, do you know what I mean? Like living a life with wellness is a privilege.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it shouldn't be. It should be the absolute bare minimum of how we live.
Imagine that if everyone was taught this from such an early age, we wouldn't have all of these, problems.
I know,
We can
but
change that.
but it's change. We are the change, aren't we? We're part of the change. We are the change.
It's true. Thank you. I really appreciate
Thank you so much.
taking the time to come
Oh,
and
it's
chat.
been lovely. I feel like it's very just natural, very natural to talk to you.
Really appreciate it. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you so
Really,
much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
and I will speak to you very soon.
Yeah, take care.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you too.
Thanks for tuning in to Fertile. I really enjoyed that episode and I hope you did too. If you're ready to heal your cycle and awaken your fertility, subscribe now and join us over at artahealing.com in our signature program, The Fertile Woman. For free tips and inspiration, follow us over on Instagram and I will see you next time. Bye.